because the driver is okay. You can see a motorcyclist here, an SUV driving down the Oregon road. Suddenly, that SUV driver swerves, knocking the motorcyclist off the road. Amazingly, that victim walked out of the hospital with just road rash, but oh, that had to hurt.
Yes, that did have to hurt. Man, oh man, is that one fortunate dude.
Another clash of the old El Clasico.
As it goes, man, hitting like that and surviving, what a miracle, that dude on a road rage incident. Terrific. Unbelievable. The SoCal Tesla terrorist was released from prison, supposed to get 5 years, is out, is terrorizing again, let out of prison in California in less than a year.
HPD does prosecute him and do a better job than California, of keeping him behind bars so that hopefully he can at least learn a lesson, maybe get some sort of help. It seems he has anger issues. He's lashing out, and who knows what he might be capable of next. It's only escalating.
There you go, the Tesla terrorist back on the street attacking in Hawaii after he was let out of prison after less than a year sentence on a 5-year prison term because we, in Fruitcake, California, let them out for no particular reason because we're running emotional feelings on, screw that. Dude probably should have, well, I guess I'm hanging Judge Roy. Because I'd have given this clown the death penalty. Send him down to Berkeley down there in El Salvador. Gator was pissed. 11-foot gator ate a woman in Florida after they canoed over him. He didn't like that. He flipped the canoe over. There's a man and a woman. He ate the woman. Here's the report. Here we go.
FWC couldn't say whether that actually contributed to this attack, but it comes just 3 months after another woman was bitten by a gator near the boat ramp at Lake Kissimmee State Park.
Gator grabbed her out of the canoe. He tried to fight the gator off.
Just after 4 this afternoon, the call came.
At the mouth of Tiger Creek on Lake Kissimmee.
A woman attacked and dragged underwater by an alligator while on the water with a male companion.
Polk County Sheriff's Office helicopter responded along with FWC officers by vessel. The helicopter spotted the victim floating in the water, and FWC officers recovered her from the water. Where
most of these things in the reports out, they did a 300-year study. Most of the gator attacks are because you are in their zone. Swampy waters, where they're at, where they're doing. If you stay away from the gator's habitat, the odds of you getting eaten, bit, or attacked, or losing your life as this woman did, are extremely, extremely low. Moreno Valley Planning Commission last night, we did pass, finally with a 7-0 vote, the Victoria Gardens. We'll get into that whole thing in later. Union representative and planning commissioner of Moreno Valley, Omar Kobian, said outcomes at our, planning commission, city council, are predetermined. His words, not mine. Here we go.
Project. And we are asked to make a decision based on that. And a lot of times the decisions that we have to make are already predetermined.
Omar Kobian, union representative of the carpenters out here in the Inland Empire, planning commissioner for 3 years, says outcomes are predetermined. Oh, we're going to get more into this with the whole Moreno Valley mess continuing to go on. The great Donald J. Trump on voting. Here we go.
Another thing, I just before we leave, I think you should do this. For my safety and security and for the good of our nation, you should do it anyway, regardless, even if it costs 10 times more, but it actually costs you just a tiny fraction. If you went to paper ballots and you're voting, and I would hope that every Republican would, so it costs exactly 8% of what the machines cost. These machines, they got something going. They get business. It's amazing. So paper ballots, and paper is very sophisticated today. Paper, it's called watermark. It's impossible to copy, impossible to cheat. It's actually hard to believe that a piece of paper is highly sophisticated, but it's watermark, and it's it's amazing actually when you see it. You can't cheat. But if you went to paper ballots and same-day voting, and if you went to voter ID, and also one other thing, you want a proof of citizenship. Those four things: proof of citizenship, voter ID, paper.
Why can't we get to that? Very simple. Paper ballots, same-day voter, voter ID, secure elections, no cheating, 1/12 the cost. I want to hear the arguments against that. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco joins the Huntington Beach Sanctuary City lawsuit against the state of California. There's Sheriff Chad, as it's reported in the California Globe. He is joining the Huntington Beach lawsuit where they're suing the state of California, Gavin Newsom and Rob Bonner, Attorney General, saying, hey, cities have the right not to have illegal aliens unlawfully and illegally in our country. Good for Chad. You gotta love Trump some more. You want mentally ill person to be a leader of men who believes love is love, gender, age, species simply doesn't matter. Here's the great Donald J. on little Petey Buttigieg. Here we go.
And when they took over, Buttigieg, who has no clue, he drives to work on his bicycle with his, in all fairness, with his husband on the back, which is a nice, loving relationship. But he didn't have a clue. This guy didn't have a clue. And he's actually a contender for president. Between him and Crockett, you can have that party. But he didn't know what he was doing.
He's 111% right. Little Petey, his little bicycle-y. I love how Trump throws those barbs in there. Gotta love Donald J. Get into this, but Katie Grimes writes in the California Globe, Gavin Newsom is running another climate hustle. Appointments of this and screw that. The wildfires have put up more air pollution, destroyed more stuff than every car that's ran in the last 25 years. Same time, wildfires that we should have prevented, as the experts say. Either you're going to clear and maintain the forest, you the people, or the fires will do it their way with mass destruction, as we just seen in Los Angeles. On top of that, Michael Mache was on with John Cobell today, but Newsom is now disputing or trying to run false narratives on the professor's research and predictions of $8, $9 a gallon of gas with refineries closing, and his research that said, no, Gavin Newsom, it is you, the state of California, who's gouging the people on the price of gas, not the oil refiners, companies, poor dude trying to make 2 cents a gallon pumping the gas. The guy's, and then he tries to blame Mishki that he was funded by Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Mishki said, I did a study in Saudi Arabia, totally unrelated to this. It was actually how to get the Saudi Arabian economy off of oil, for Christ's sakes. With them lying about the 16 and 17-year-olds, with Josh Hoover and the other Republicans on the prostitute or soliciting prostitutes, minor prostitutes. Practically, I don't know how you could be a member of the Democratic Party. You really got to hate yourself. Husky sheds its coat in the winter. Look at that. Man, that's a lot of hair coming off poor old Husky. Just wondering, where's all my hair going? They're stealing all my hair. Although he'll be a sharp-looking dude, I bet, when he comes out of the hair loss factory. Another thing, this is in the San Bernardino Sun. You know, it's illegal to have red or blue lights. You know, those are only for the cops. And I guarantee you, you start flashing red or blue lights, they get extremely pissed about that. On top of that, all you blind people that have to have these new lights, when you're coming the other direction, you cannot see. It blinds you. If you are that blind and can't drive at night, stay off the freaking road. The old lights, the kind of yellowy lights that don't blind you when you're looking across for them, they light up the road perfectly fine to see where you're going at nighttime. We're not running the Baja 1000 from here to the tip of Mexico in the middle of the night at 100 mile an hour through the desert on no roads. Those guys need light. You don't need that kind of light. Knock it off. You're going to get people killed. Again, if you're that frickin' blind, stay off the frickin' road. You know, go home and make cookies or something. Stay home and make cookies. Shots fired during a pursuit in Claremont. Suspect arrested on the 10 freeway. That was Thursday night. It's reported by KCAL. Charlie Kirk was at UCR today for a rally trying to get the troops on, like, hey, let's turn California from the cesspool, Gavin Newsom piece of crap, Karen Bass, Barbara Lee, all that stuff out there. There's some pics from the rally. Looks like well attended out at UCR. See what the you hear the Charlie, Charlie chant as it's so it looks like it's a well attended event out there at UCR. Maybe when we come back Monday, we'll have a deeper report on that. I had some people out in the field checking that out, but we'll see if they come back with some reports. Videotape, couldn't make it down there. Too much other stuff going around in the city that we'll have. We'll get to the Planning Commission and the wildfires and the piss gator eating the woman. And that guy's surviving that road rage deal where the car just whacks him off the road and he's out there skidding around there. Didn't really, I mean, just suffered minor injuries. Man, that guy's fortunate. Lucky he's hitting the lottery. That guy was fortunate he didn't suffer any major injuries late when a car runs into you at 70 miles an hour and you lay your bike down. That is something else. There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live 5 and Evil FB Network, Rumble, X, YouTube, all that good stuff. as they say. Man, oh man, what a day. Out there. That dude, that motorcycle deal, something else. I don't know how that did. Again, don't piss off the gators. They did a study on those. Somebody went back 300 years. How do you figure out what happened in gators and that? They basically said, you know what? Stay out of the swamp, their area. 98.7% of the people, like that lady who got eaten by the gator, you're in their space, in their habitat. Like you say, if you're going to drive your canoe over them, the gator got pissed, capsized their little canoe, and ate the chick. The dude survived. But they said it's almost impossible. It's like getting hit by lightning. To be attacked by a gator, just to be bit. And there we did bit versus killed, everything else. That was a 10, 11-foot gator that ate the woman there in Florida. But just don't F with people in their space. You'll find out your life will go much better most of the time. Even gators. Just like that with the lights. I mean, you got to be a complete freaking moron if you're going to be out there testing the cops. Blue and red lights on the front. Only your lights you're allowed to have on the back are red for stoplights. If you're projecting red or blue lights forward and you are not a sworn officer, I pity you when you get caught by a sworn officer. So like I say, they don't take very kindly to that at all, for they don't have no sense of humor about that. But again, like the deal, I don't know why we have to have these like bright lights on steroids. Just driving down the road, driving down the freeway, driving through Moreno Valley or Claremont or Hemet or San Bernardino or Victorville or Temecula. You can't see. When they come back through you cannot see. I thought I was going blind or something. And then I noticed, dudes like me driving the older junk, with the old yellow tinned yellow lights that you could see perfectly fine at night for wherever you're going driving. Voila, you're not blind when they're coming at you. So we need to retrofit all these cars back to the old style light so we're not being blinded all the freaking time. Holy bleeping freaking cow on this stuff. We're going to get in again. We're going to do the third part in the series about this whole deal on Mayor Baby Jesus, as I call him, Ulysses Cabrera. And the Moreno Valley City Council, we had a deal with the Planning Commission. Thwarted. And yeah, go ahead, please. Would Erlen and Cobian come in here and tell me we're all making this stuff up in our heads? We'll even invite Louise to come in. I want you to tell Louise Palomares she's inventing this stuff in her head. Ask Bob. Had the line of the night last night. She wasn't even back at 100% yet. But back up what you're saying. Cobian, you want to call us out? Erlen Gonzalez, you want to call us out? Okay. Here's the seat. We're going to do it live and in living color for as long as you think you can stay in here. Man up, boy. Show some balls. You got none. I'm calling you out. Stand up there on the dais like you're big blanks. Well, come on down to the real world, sons. Come on down where you got to defend your record, just like Gavin Newsom. We did the first part, or in the intro, both of them. Mike Mischke, the USC professor that told him, hey, jackass Newsom. And you know what, Cobian, and probably Erland too, and all you guys are supporting Newsom and Corey Jackson and Baby Jesus. All the people, all the politicians that have F'd California into the ground and took your union jobs. Cobian, go ask the operating engineers how much money they got off the Prop 6, the gas tax money. Let's look at what happened on the record. Promise where promises made, promises kept of union jobs, of roads being built. Your brother in Local 12 said Newsom's a lying sack of crap. Didn't even get 40% of the money promised on Prop 6. So don't be crying crocodile tears or say, or what, am I making that up in my head? Prove your case. Or you got no balls. It's like you had Thursday, where we're going to reveal what was surprisingly, or maybe not so, missing at the Planning Commission in Moreno Valley. But back to Mischke and the gas deal. He came out with Steady Newsom, last year with his whole, gouging, oil companies, evil rich white men. Stick it, which Gavin Newsom has won. A real one. Mischke, USC professor, came out with a study a couple weeks ago, says bunk. Backing up what I have done on the whiteboard for years and told you, not only here at many public meetings, California Air Resources Board meeting at the Mary Nichols Center in Riverside County Board of Supervisors, Crime Syndicate, Moreno Valley City Council, and probably other spots too. This is a note to Baby Jesus, Cobian, Erland Gonzalez, Supervisors Victor Manuel Perez, Chuck Washington, and a whole host of you others. You want to challenge frickin' credentials? Or what I'm making up in my head, or whatever. Let's go back to the 2014 redistricting map of the city of California. Happened to be, and in a very rare occurrence, very few people have drawn a district map for elections that have been voted on by the people. Most of them are selected by the council. That just happened to be because we were putting the mayor on. My map was selected, was accused by all this, making, civil rights, and we're discriminating in this and violating the Voting Rights Act and all this from what I did. Then it comes to 2021, when you have to do the redistricting again, like you do after the census, after every 10 years. Not only did my map pass and did not have to be modified one iota 7 years later, it passed the new standards that were passed in 2018. So tell me when. Show me the political position where you had the foresight to see what was going to happen in the future and prevent it. Show me. I got a long list of them. I'm just giving you one. And I'm giving you a chance to study it. And then I'm giving you a chance to come in here and tell me I'm making all this crap up in my head, or anybody else. Either come in here and sit in the seat, or you're proving you got no balls. So anyway, he accuses that. Now he's saying Mischke, they're trying to do a disinformation campaign, saying he's taking money from the Arabs, them evil, they got towels on their head, they got to be evil. So it racist Newsom. So the guys you're supporting, Cobian, Erland Gonzalez, Baby Jesus. You got to watch those Arabs. What'd your boy Corey Jackson call Bill O'Saley on the Assembly floor, oh, you evil white racist, when he's from the Middle East, or his family is. White Christian nationalists. It's what you're supporting. So now he comes out with this deal. Oh, Mischke's discredited. He took money from the Arabs. So Mischke comes on, like I said, he came on Cobalt Show on KFI about 2 o'clock. Happened to be driving the car listening to him. And he said, yeah, I did a study for the Arabs. It was actually a study how the Arab economy could get off of fossil fuels. Exactly what Newsom's, AB 30. They were trying to come up with a study on how to implement an AB 32 policy like you put in that screwed California. Now, I don't know why they would be insane to do that, but hey, that's their business. Had nothing to do with oil or refineries or anything like that. Don't dispute the facts. Don't dispute the issue. Like Mischke says, I expected a call saying, hey, come on up. He said, I'd have flown up there on my own dime and presented my information and then let them discuss it, pick it apart, ask questions, whatever they wanted to do. No, they come out and attack it. Just like you are, Cobian and Erlin. Oh, you know, people making stuff up in their head, you know. Don't come in and debate the facts. Don't make your case. Just throw brickbats from your little ivory towers and your daises where you know you're protected. And you're intellectually dishonest when you don't defend your position. We'll get to that in a bit. Top of that, the great Katie Grimes had an article about the Newsom climate hustle. Pretty much everything we use in modern society needs to be upended, overhauled, restricted, according to Gavin Newsom and the climate change hustlers. That means, like I've told you, they want your, at best, they want the vast majority of the people in a 100s high rise, in a 200 square foot cubicle. You either walk or take the non-existent bullet train or whatever. Take your life in your hands getting on the bus. Their model for you is China. And you want to talk about air pollution and everything else, like they said in the last 25 years. The wildfires, just let's not even talk about the billions, maybe even trillions of dollars worth of property destruction. Houses burnt, tens of thousands of lives lost. Air pollution in California generated from wildfires has dwarfed in the same period every diesel truck, every car, every gasoline lawnmower, chainsaw, weed blower, or what the hell ever. Dwarfs the pollution they put out. On top of that, like the scientists, the experts, the firemen said, either you go in there and clear the forest and maintain it, or the fires will. As we just seen the latest one, Altadena and Pacific Palisades. So yeah, they're admitting it. Just like these clowns everywhere. And you know what? I think, like Newsom's popularity ratings, let's take the last two polls, 34 and 46%. You take the last two polls, he's down 40-60. Most of his political career, and especially his government, except for the French Laundry days, a few months, he's been 60-40 approval. 60% approve. Oh, Gavin Newsom, he's so cute. I want to blank him. I dream about getting by Gavin Newsom. So this is now it's the opposite. He's on the 40 end of approval and 60% disapproval. Average the last two polls. You see Berserkly, and I don't remember the other one. So this is what you got. This is what we got to look forward to. You know, the safety society, you can't do this, and we're afraid of that. Got to get to the German study. Maybe we'll get to it next week. I don't know if we'll get to it today. But they're the same thing. Oh, helicopter kids, don't let them go out and play in the playground. Oh, they might skin their knee. They've scrapped that policy because it's made a bunch of kids and the adults that are afraid of their own shadow. Because they don't know how to manage risk. Or they don't know what to do. They're just like, what are you? I mean, somebody's not going to come in and rescue me. Oh, we can't go to safe space and call a timeout. And this has mostly been a fault of men trying to be women. Told you, ladies, you're going to rue the day. You turned us all into women. Get into the clue. Well, let's set her up. We had that planning commission deal last week. The planning commission fiasco. We did the two parts on Wednesday and Thursday. Mainly baby Jesus, Ulysses Cabrera, and his sidekick Erling Gonzalez. Put in a public records request asking if any or all stuff is advised, or have there been any appointments pulled? Based on the Gabby Mendez. So we have not heard, and I got an answer back in the city clerk, there have been no resignation letters from any board, commission, or committee members in the past 2 weeks. I don't know if there's any applications pulled. That hasn't been answered. So Gabriela Mendez is still, as we know, or as we know from the city clerk, is still on the Historical and Preservation Board. That will be a note for future coming attractions. So that was the whole flap, one of them. Omar Cobian was the only planning commissioner of the 4 that were up for reappointment and that reapplied that got recommended by baby Jesus. Omar Cobian and Gabby Mendez were both nominated or recommended by new 3rd District Council member Erling Gonzalez. That all blew up and did not get in force. For those of you can go back and see the whole rendition of the last 2. Because there was a very important project coming up last night. Lewis Group, major developer, not only in the Inland Empire, but worldwide, developer of Victoria Gardens and Rancho Cucamonga, that people have come up to the podium saying, we want a place like Rancho or Victoria Gardens and Rancho in our community. Here's a developer coming in, putting in a similar project in Moreno Valley. What everybody wants. Why were we trying to get the planning commissioners changed for that? Fortunately, that got thwarted by members of the community coming up and saying, not no, by hell no, and then Erlen Gonzalez and Baby Jesus backing up after the intent was shown not only by members of the public in public comments, but by council members, 4th District, Shaylinda Bernard, and 2nd District, Ed Delgado. As Cobian is going to admit, he's given money to, or through his union rep, or however you want to say it, to all 5 on the council. How is it that he was the only one of the 4 who got reappointed? And we're trying to put up Gabby Mendez, who they tried to do 6 months ago and screw Nikki Taylor. Young 20-something, now my information working for Corey Jackson. Is that a coincidence or Memorex or... Anyway, so they say, let's kick it off with the comments, starting with Omar Cobian in the closing comments. Thankfully, 7-0. 7-0. It finally passed. It passed projects through Planning Commission. It's got to go to City Council, so we'll see what happens there. Here's Omar Cobian in his closing remarks after the project was passed. Here we go.
You know, when I came in today, I did get to watch I wasn't here for the city council meeting on Tuesday. I did get to hear some of the fireworks that had happened. And it is unfortunate that, our city council continues to show their disagreements or dismay or even lack of respect to one another at times. That's another situation altogether.
So let's stop right there. Mr. Cobian, who are you specifically referring to? Okay, there's 5 members. Are you referring to Elena Baca Santa Cruz? Are you referring to Ed Delgado? Are you referring to Erlen Gonzalez? Are you referring to Shaylinda Bernard? Or are you referring, as you said, the most popular mayor, Justin Jackson, was standing next to me? You determined Baby Jesus was the most popular mayor in the history of Moreno Valley. Mind you, we've only had 2 directly elected ones, XD and Gutierrez. And your basis was, well, he got elected by 40 some odd percent. Well, so did XDN. You conceded that point. And I asked you, for what evidence do you have? What have we had? 1 dozen, 2 dozen mayors? What evidence, what are you basing this on? Oh, elections. Well, it is. Again, where is the evidence? When you make claims like this, or you make accusations like this, are you saying all of them? No. There's 2. 2 Tuesday night. Baby Jesus, Ulysses Cabrera, and Erlen Gonzalez, especially, mostly Mayor Baby Jesus was disrespectful, especially to Shaylinda Bernard and Ed Delgado, because he was pointing out, and they were making examples very nicely and politely, I might add, Omar, to what the true intent Ulysses Cabrera has done. Ulysses Cabrera, let's go through the deal. Ulysses Cabrera has accused people of buying his vote and provided zero evidence after being asked 20 gazillion times of where that's coming from. Because I want to know if somebody's trying to bribe somebody on the freaking council. I will tell you, I will broadcast that like a bullhorn you've never seen. I would probably be louder than Luis Palomares, if you can believe that. Test me, Omar. So if you're going to make accusations, just like Ulysses, make them. October surprise. Illegally appointed to Donna Chempson, along with his bud, Dave Marquez, at the time, when he was told by the city attorney and the city clerk and everybody, you cannot do this. He said, yes, we can. We are the council. We are above the law. He provided, or Dave Marquez, after numerous requests, publicly on the record by me and many others, where is the evidence that you had the authority to appoint her? On top of that, there's a Press Enterprise article of LaDonna Jempson said she contacted both David Marquez and Ulysses Cabrera, which there was only 3 council members. Tell me that isn't a Brown Act violation. Tell me that isn't a conspiracy. Then we have the Menendez deal and everything and his conduct.
You got 1 minute, Roy.
Just like he was sitting up there, falsely accused Ed Delgado using his family or Shaylinda Bernard to be an emotional wreck or whatever he's trying to do. This happens time and time again. Now, you can defend him all you want, and that's your right, Omar. But please come in here and let's have a discussion about it. Let's look at the evidence. As Sean said, we're going to be joining the Mighty Met KMET. We'll be picking this up on the flip side.
30 seconds.
As we're doing it, we just got into the first part of this. Isn't this fun? We might even have to do an overtime session on this one, but we'll see. But we'll be hitting the Mighty Met KMET here. We'll be picking up on this in the Marina Valley Clown Show.
Here we go, 10 seconds.
Who support America. PatriotSwitch.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast studio audience in the Evil IP Network, Rumble, X, YouTube, all that good stuff. Can't believe you got to watch the first part of this. Go in all those before. Dude on a motorcycle. Dude looks like intentionally driving him off the road, hits him. He's doing the road rash down the road, walks away with just minor injuries. Then a couple in Florida who ran over a 11-foot gator in their canoe. The gator got pissed, flipped the canoe over, ate the woman. She's dead in a doornail. And as they said, they did a 300-year history of this. Somebody did. I don't know how they figured this out, but they said, 96% of the time, gator bites, eating people, whatever. If you don't mess with them in their territory, they will leave you alone. They're not a natural predator of human beings. So if you don't yank their chain, they won't bother you. And the odds of you getting bit and or eaten by a gator are like getting struck by lightning and dying. Probably maybe even less. Sheriff Chad has joined the Huntington Beach lawsuit challenging the sanctuary city law and state law in California. So good job, Sheriff Chad, on that. The Mischke deal, Governor Newsom lying through his teeth of the whole thing. Trump coming out for voter ID and laying out the case of why we should do it. We would save money. Elections would be secure. Little, if no cheating. It's like a no-brainer. On and on the rest of the show, but let's get back to the Planning Commission and all that going on at Moreno Valley. So we're doing Omar Cobain. Been on the Planning Commission 3 years as a union representative. Went through the first part, and as he said to me and Justin Jackson after the meeting, thinks Moreno Valley Mayor Baby Jesus Ulysses Carrera is the most popular mayor. We should be kissing his ring. Oh, how could you dare criticize him? Here's more from Omar Cobain at the Planning Commission meeting from the dais last night.
But one thing I can say, this Planning Commission here, we've always respected each other. We don't always agree, but I want to make it very clear from whatever comments are said today. In 3 years, I think I've missed 2 Planning Commissions. And one was because of an emergency.
So I will be making, along with them, sending all 3 of the 3 tapes I've done the last 3 days to the Moreno Valley City Council. So one of them is going to be a public records request for the last 3 years, not only of Omar Cobain, but for all the planning commissioners. I want to know how many dates were there, planning commission meetings that were scheduled and held, the attendance of him and every planning commission member, plus all recusals in that 3 years. Let's see if you have only missed 2 meetings in the last 3 years since you've been on the Planning Commission. And then we're going to compare that to the other members and how many times each of you have recused yourself from voting because of conflicts of interest or whatever. And we will see what the actual record reflects.
I've always tried to ask good questions that make sense. If I don't ask a question, it's for a reason. I've been in construction, working on multi-million-dollar projects for over 27 years. Now I do work for the Carpenters Union, and I oversee and I work with contractors that build multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar projects. So my experience does come with some weight, and I am for me to have been selected, I am appreciative of that, but I didn't like some of the comments that were made attacking me, like if I may have had something to do with whatever decision the city council made. So I want to make that clear to the other commissioners here. I respect all the commissioners here. We've been together here for quite some time.
So let's deal with that. And I'm going to give you again opportunity to come in here and defend your record. Let's look at what the evidence shows and explain it to us. Okay, you're upset. I'm going to give you the opportunity to clear or make your case on the record of what you believe is not true or accurate, and defend it and match it up against the evidence we have at this point. We go.
Sometime I've been on this commission, not even a full term, 3 years. So I want to make that clear for the record. Aside from that, I think people continue to seem to have a misunderstanding of what the Planning Commission can actually do. We can't can't sell a racetrack. And it's kind of glad that racetrack went away, by the way. But
Oh, he's glad Riverside International Raceway went away. World-renowned sports facility. Replaced by a failing for over 30 years mall. And oh, Mr. Omar seems to have all the answers or knowledge or glad. So I'm going to explain a couple things to you. First, the planning commissioner can have a lot of influence on how that property is sold because they got a vote, just like the Riverside Raceway project. And it was because of the Riverside Raceway property that Moreno Valley was started illegally. Go to the LAFCO. You're such an expert on planning and all this and construction and knowledge, buddy. Tell me you can create a city with an island in the middle, and it's exactly what they did at Riverside County when they put it on the ballot in 1983 before we became a city with Norton Younglove and all that. You know who was standing right in there? With Ab Brown, the mayor of Riverside, was my dad. Got the pictures of it. Sat in some of the phone calls and meetings, Omar. You know what they did? And the reason they did that? Because they hijacked the $25 million the mall did. That was the main bait. And the Moreno Valley City Council, through the Planning Commission and all this crap, gave the $25 million to Fritz Duda Company, or to put the infrastructure in for the Fritz Duda Company and the mall. No, that doesn't affect sale of property and how you develop it when you're taking money out of our pocket and giving it to somebody else. But you're the big guy. You got it. As Miss Baxter said Tuesday night, dumbest thing we ever did. You say it's the smartest. Come in and make that case, Omar. Look at that mall today. You know what was big we ran on Tuesday? The big deal, 300 some odd cars out there at the food bank. That's the big attraction at the mall. Nobody. Failure. You can go back to the history of that. Do you know that? Do you know they were one out of 200 bankrupt malls when that thing went down 10 years ago, the company that owned it? 7 of them they couldn't even get rid of. One of them was Moreno Valley Mall. The mall, you're glad the racetrack is gone, Omar. No, if you think that putting that mall in was, you are shitting on the people of the original Edgemont. Just draw the Box Springs Mutual Water Company, as I call it, the barrio, the edge of barrio of Edgemont, Brill Road, right next to my first house where it says where the pavement ends, buddy. You're shitting on all those people, Omar, because you stole that racetrack, stole the money that was going to redevelop that agency, and that's why it looks like an even worse S-hole 40 years later. You don't give a crap about their drinking crappy water we could have fixed, or the Lion Councils, or nothing. Never seen your smiling face defend any of it over 40 years. Again, come in here and sit in the seat. Let's have a discussion.
There's no way a planning commissioner have control of that. That was a sale by the people from the racetrack that decided that the revenue wasn't good enough and it got sold.
Prove that. Prove that they would have built that mall if we didn't give the redevelopment funds that were supposed to go to the deserving people in Edgemont for that mall. Bring it, Omar. Nothing pisses me more than people that want to take advantage of those who need the help the most. Those who are on the lower end of the economic scale. Those that have the least ability to defend themselves. And what I really despise is people that want to stomp and piss on them on the way up the ladder to make themselves up the deal.
We have no control over that. We have no control over how many parks we can bring into the city. I wish we could. We have no control of what type of businesses really come into the city.
Then why do we have a planning commission? You have no control. If you have no influence, then why doesn't the staff just read the report and you go with staff's recommendation. Why do you ask for a question? Why do you have, if you have no control, no influence, no nothing, then what is the purpose of a planning commission per the laws of the state of California for cities and counties and everything else, Omar?
We are here to make a decision with an agenda that's a public agenda. At the same time, the public sees it, we see it. We do get a little more information about the project, and we are asked to make a decision based on that. And a lot of times, the decisions that we have to make are already predetermined. So I just want to make that clear for the public. There's been a lot.
So the decisions are predetermined. What does that mean? Again, why are we having planning commission meetings? Baby Jesus and Dave Marquez didn't care about the law or what was supposed to be done. We have examples right here in the city of Moreno Valley where that happens. What do you mean predetermined? Then what is the purpose of having a city council meeting? Now, yeah, there's laws, and if you don't do things, certain things may happen. But that doesn't preclude your vote as a planning commissioner or city council to vote whichever way you want, or whichever way you feel, or for whatever reason. You were put up there, the electeds were elected to represent us. You were appointed by them to represent us, to look out for our best interests. From what I'm seeing, and the evidence I'm seeing from you, Omar, you have little, if any, understanding of how the Constitution of the United States, the laws, the governance, the Constitution of California, laws, cities, states, counties actually work. Or what a representative republic is supposed to be.
A lot of information, a lot of people, public comments that may have convinced or try to convince people that we have more power than we do. We do not. So I am glad the Lewis group came to Moreno Valley. I think that'll entice other developers to come in. I will tell you that infighting in cities is bad for business. So I'm glad that with this planning commission that we've always shown decorum to one another. So I appreciate all my commissioners, and for that, I thank you.
Let's deal with the infighting in cities. Let's go back to the Aquabella deal. Carpenters Union, I believe, Orange Vesters, using Jimmy Hoffa thug tactics. If you don't pass, and how many times have your crew pulled that? Not coming to the negotiating table in good faith, presenting your case, say, hey, can we make a deal? You were called out by multiple residents. Well, not maybe you specifically, but the tactics that were used by the carpenters and pipe fitters and whatever, as I recall, or whomever union members they were, saying, hey, this is not right. Where does the infighting and the you're not doing that and the whining and crying about it like your buddy, you say the most popular mayor in Moreno Valley history, Ulysses Cabrera, where is it? Who caused it? Who encouraged it?
I'm the newest commissioner here.
Yes, she is. That's Nicole Taylor. This came up 4 months ago. We had a vacancy on the Planning Commission. Nikki Taylor had been appointed to the Planning Commission as an alternate member and learn the ropes. And that was the whole idea behind this, is when there was an opening, they would be promoted up. That's when they first, Ulysses Cabrera tried to put Gabby Menendez on there over Nikki Taylor, who went through the process. Nikki Taylor, who has represented the city very well and the Planning Commission when she's done it as an alternate. Very articulate, fine spokeswoman, represents the city and the Planning Commission very well. Ulysses Cabrera did not want her on the Planning Commission. This, again, I didn't see Omar defending Nikki Taylor or the Orange Vesters. You know, I backed you guys up many a time, here and other spots. I can drag out plenty of union members, reps, heads of the union. Let's bring him in here, Omar. Let's go through the frickin' record. Nikki Taylor got screwed by Ulysses Cabrera. We had to fight to get her on the Planning Commission, as she was the most qualified or had the experience to do it. And we're replaying this crap again. And who are you blaming, Omar? Nikki Taylor.
And each one of these commissioners up here have taught me something. And the Planning Commission is just not a commission that you should not have any experience. It's just not. You have to understand federal and state laws. Not only that, but the lingo, the acronyms. If you get up here just to be a yes person or just to do what someone else wants you to do, you're really going to make yourself look just stupid to me.
Love it. Not only you're going to make yourself stupid, you're going to run off businesses. Baby Jesus, Erlen, Omar. Business people that are risking $10,000, $100,000, $1 million in fees and years to get to the point of getting a project through, which that's a whole different subject. And then they're going to take a crapshoot, or you don't know, as in Moreno Valley, or if you don't pay off, kiss the ring of certain people, your stuff ain't getting done. David Stites, Planning Commissioner, here we go.
That was not an easy thing to keep coming back, trying to do. But eventually I got here. And when I did get here, I appreciated everything that was taught to me by, I don't want to say predecessors because they didn't leave, but the people that were here before me. I've been in construction, general contracting for many years. I've owned a couple different businesses, have seen a lot of different things that were kind of scary in the city years ago.
So there's a guy, general contractor, been around, took him a while, just like Erlen, to get on the Planning Commission, It's an important responsibility. You're making a lot of decisions that are going to affect the city and all its residents. Daryl Terrell.
No matter how old you are or how young you are, it's just the fact that we all love the city. And I say I love all these my fellow commissioners. And I consider them like family. Everywhere I go, you don't have to be blood related to be family. And I consider them my family. And I consider the city my family. I consider everybody in this room my family, because we have to look out for one another and do what's the best for our community. And sometimes we may not agree with people's decision, but you don't go around hating them because you disagree with them because of.
Well, yeah, we do. We find tradition from the first illegal meeting. From the first of this city was started illegally. Study LAFCO, as you should, Omar. You should know the stuff at the back of your hand if you're such a superstar. Ditchbank Okie from Edgemont knows it. Ray Baker.
The chairman, give me your name. Alvin, I'm sorry. I drew a blank there, but I'm sorry about that. But anyhow, those two guys need to stay up here. They've got some wisdom. When we put that general plan together, I probably need to go to the pasture. But anyhow, that's my thought on it, and it's a great bunch. I've worked with a lot of different commissions over the.
Now that's somebody who's concerned about his community. That's a statesman. That's a man with integrity. If Erland Gonzalez and Ulysses Cabrera came to Ray Baker and said, you know, Ray, I think he's about 80. Was about my dad's age. Said, you know, thank you for your service. Here you go. But, you know, we want to get some new blood in here, you know, some younger people. You're not going to be around forever. Like Ray Baker, he said, hey, fine, I understand it. The only reason he did is because you took Ray and Joanne off. You, Ulysses Cabrera and Dave Marquez, because you were playing political paybacks because you could. You didn't reappoint Ray and Joanne. Then we couldn't get the general plan through. Hardly. Took us months. We had to go 3 or 4 meetings because we didn't have a quorum because Dave Marquez and your most popular mayor, Omar, baby Jesus, played that. And then 3 or 4 months later, they had to put him back on just so we could get projects done and not drive everybody, council staff, and the citizens crazy. That was Ulysses Cabrera. Omar. Holy frickin' cow. You have no idea. Maybe you do. But if you do, and you do now if you watch this, or you come in here, you stuck your head in the sand, you're playing thug tactics. Maybe you're not doing it as hammer-handled as Jimmy Hoffa did.
There you go. None of us would be here without mothers. Yeah, that's true. But I would say this, and I get it. You know, I ran against Mr. Justin Jackson out there, and we had a chance to shake hands and talk. And yes, he has great experience. I think he would do great up here. I honestly do. I think he would be great. And matter of fact, speaking to him and talking to him with his youth, I think he would be just about great in anything he sets his mind to. But when people say just to get a fresh mind or youth, you kind of have to say that, look, any application you go for, I don't care if you go to McDonald's, like, it's going to ask you for your experience. There isn't a single one that doesn't. So yes, experience does matter. But I do caution folk, you know, whether or not it's the city council, whether or not it's the planning commission, is this, alliances. I say caution yourself on alliances because alliances usually come with agendas.
That's Alvin DeGenet. For those of you that are watching on the web, hang on, I'm going to finish this up. We're going to be leaving the Mighty Met KMET here in a few seconds of that. But because I want to get this finished up because I'm going to send it in. But we're going to be back. We'll be back on Monday for those of you on KMET as we usually do. Be back here in 71 hours like all the stuff. I'm sure just about now, Sean's going to dump us on KMET. But those of you on the net, stay with us. We'll keep rocking and rolling with this.
The preceding was a paid program. Views.
There you go. Of that. So we've
All right, hey, Roy, watch the S-bombs in the show on the live air, okay? It's okay to say that on the internet, but not on
yes,
the
I
live
will
air.
if I did, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you did.
apologize for doing that on the regular.
Yeah, tell Mitch you apologize, because he's the one who called me and noticed it, because I was out editing something, so.
You got it.
All right, take it easy.
You got it.
Bye
No,
now.
it's so back on this. So this is Alvin Dejanay going on there. And we're going to wind up running this. But he's the president of the Planning Commission, was not recommended for reappointment by no explanation. Here we go.
And sometimes you're not going to catch that agenda that somebody's asking for, which is probably an undertone of that, that alliance. But in general, when you have that alliance and you try to monopolize that alliance, then you're looking at, especially in politics, you're looking at an alliance that can change policies, procedures, codes, laws. And we see it in the major politics that are going on today. And there's no one to oppose that. And when you don't have anyone to oppose that, then of course, just like I said last night, if I'm the captain of a ship, or I'm the police chief or fire chief, or whatever, I want to know if we're going down the wrong path. Somebody has to tell me, stay away from that iceberg. Do you remember the Titanic? Somebody has to say that.
Mr. Dejanay is right. And that's why you don't wholesale go in there and for no particular reason just flip the Planning Commission just because I want to get my people in there. You're good. Ulysses Camara, Omar Cobain, Yerlin Gonzalez, you're trying to turn this into Bell frickin' California and Rizzo and that whole mess. That's what they did. And again, if your most popular mayor didn't even call Ray Baker, Joanne Stephan, or Alvin Dejanay, no explanation or nothing, they got totally blindsided by this. You didn't even have respect for the planning commissioners of Moreno Valley to at least tell them what you were doing, explain your reasoning to that. Zip, nada, nothing. Here's Planning Commissioner Joanne Stephan.
Do it for the love of the city. I've been here for a very long time. I'm not going to say how long because Roy beats me, and so does Alvin, but not by much. And I'm just grateful that we are a team up here. And I thank God that we don't act like the council does it. For me, I hadn't been to a council meeting in many, many months. And when I went the other night, I just couldn't believe it. I've been here, and I'll say it, 40 years, and I've been to many council meetings before I was even placed up here 8 years ago, and I could not even believe what I heard and what I saw. And it's a shame.
1,000%. So is that what was your intent, Erlen? And baby Jesus? You want to turn it into an S show like that goes on in the city council because you guys promote it? Do it?
It's a shame. And I'm just thank God that we do not act like that. We don't, we're in conjunction. We have our differences. We have our own perspective. And if somebody does kind of go off the beaten path, we try to rein them in because that's what family does. We don't want to have any problems where we're going to have any libel suits or anything like that. If we know something that is wrong, we try to fix it.
Again, that's how dictators and tyrants work. They create chaos. Walk in with, create a crisis where one doesn't exist, walk in with a solution. If the Planning Commission or anybody is not doing that, then they can't, makes it very difficult for them to rule. This is what we got to look forward to. So this is going to be my request from the other 4 council members. I'm going to ask them all, request them to pen letters and ask Mayor Baby Jesus to resign. We have a clear, from all the evidence to everything that he's pulled off, Moreno Valley will never dig out of this hole as long as this stuff keeps going on. He has not changed. He has not learned any lessons. He has not shown any contrition. And if it's mentally too hard for him to take the job or whatever the deal is, or he's in over his head or whatever the deal is, family situations, I don't know. That's not really my business. What is all of our business in Moreno Valley is how the city is run. And if we keep going on with this stuff, it's never going to change. I hope the citizens will rally and get to this, and 1,000%, every meeting, everywhere he's at, from now until the end of his term. And then we got, we'll see what happens in 26. But we will continue, Moreno Valley will continue to swirl down the toilet bowl as long as Cabrera is sitting up there. And I get Ed Delgado's point of being kind, and that is good to a point. But as Ed, you were the head jailer. At some point, you got to draw that line in the sand and say, hey, the kindness ain't working. Your explanation went over his head for the 9,000 more 37 times. He had to bark at Shaylinda Bernard, and I think rightfully so, walked off, and so did Elena, walked off the dais. Most people can see where the problem is. And that's not going to get fixed. He's shown in 8 years that he's been on the dais that it ain't going to get fixed. He's going to be, in fact, it's just gotten worse. So we cannot, at any time, for any reason, there is no, okay, you get, what chance? 9,432. We just had the example of, the Tesla terrorist. Supposed to serve 5 years, out in less than a year, is already back out in Hawaii getting arrested for the same thing. Again, at some point, you've got to say, hey, we just got to cut and do a different direction. It ain't going to work. This is not going to change. As the old cliche, it is what it is. Hope I can get it in there. This was Tuesday night. And as usual,
Wait, excuse me. Before you adjourn, there is a new item, Section P, that must be addressed, please.
That is correct, yes. Yeah, bailiff, if you could please make sure she gets escorted out. Thank you. So item P, future agenda items, looking to my colleagues who are still here. Any requests? No. Okay. So that brings us to Q, adjournment, and we will officially adjourn today's meeting at 10:03 p.m. Thank you.
no balls. There you go. Last word of Tuesday night. And what I'm saying is the same thing. My plea to the rest of the council members, citizens of Moreno Valley, we have no other choice at this point to put the public pressure on Ulysses Cabrera to resign. It's over. We're done talking about it. There's no hope for change. That's the bottom line. That'll do it for finally today in the extra edition of this, because I'm going to put this all together and send it to the council, and we'll see how it goes. But it'll be fun. We'll be back here. Well, let's do the exit deal as we do. Mandatory, you're back here at 71 Hours Live. The best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya. Ah. Yes, I already know why you're calling, Sean. Sean hit me on it.
I knew as soon as it came out of your mouth, like, I should have said that, but
Yeah.
It slipped out, so
Sure.
no worries. I happened to be in the car and I heard it. So I was like,
Why are you listening to me at this time?
you got yourself the second time, though. You said asshole, which is okay.
Right,
So-
yeah. No, I mean, you know, when you get pissed off about what they do around here, you let your emotions get away from you
I
sometimes.
get pissed off every time I drive past and I look at that mall, because I think it's saying it's like, the
Yeah.
racetrack can still be open
God.
and running races, and it's doing mall never did anything.
You know, I had to sit there and listen to that at the planning commission. I'm thinking, you can't. On top of that, I mean, I'm just like you say. I mean, I'm not calmed down for 24 hours later.
Right. I don't blame you.
I mean, it was just no. I apologize for doing it, but
Don't worry about it. They could still be making money on that track if they had
God,
it now.
yes. I mean, that was almost. It ain't quite. I mean, that would be the equivalent of kicking the LA Rams or the Raiders or something out of your city. That's
Exactly. It was like, Irwindale did the same thing at the one up there, and it's like, what are they going to use that for?
Yeah, well, no, they're actually that one they did. They probably will get, because the property is a warehouse is worth much more than what they did. The deal here was just a total con. That's why the mall's failed. The mall failed. They hijacked that. Edgemont still looks like the crap. Worse, 40 years later, they stole all that money. They stole $25 million for all those poor, disadvantaged people down there, stuck it in the mall and blew all that. That's what chaps my. Even more of losing the racetrack is they screwed those poor people down there are still living in an asshole, as I should say.
Well, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, you got it. No, I apologize. I'll try to keep it. I'll try to not do that again.
Shawshire had the 7-second delay on too, but he's doing fine things.
You're right. I do the same thing. I mean, I get it. It's,
So, all right. Well, have a good weekend.
you got it. We'll see you.
Take care.
Bye.
video because the driver is okay. You can
don't need the pumpkin shirt.
Now we move into public comments and
talking.
You can see motorcyclist here, an SUV driving down the Oregon road. Suddenly, that SUV driver swerves, knocking the motorcyclist off the road. Amazingly, that victim walked out of the hospital with just road rash, but oh, that had to.
Yes, that did have to hurt. Man, oh man, is that one fortunate dude.
Another clash of the old and El Clasico.
As it goes, man, hitting like that and surviving, what a miracle, that dude on a road rage incident. Terrific. Unbelievable. The SoCal Tesla terrorist was released from prison, supposed to get 5 years, is out, is terrorizing again, let out of prison in California in less than a year.
HPD does prosecute him and do a better job in California, you know, of keeping him behind bars so that hopefully he can at least learn a lesson, maybe get some sort of help. You know, it seems he has anger issues, he's lashing out, you know, and who knows what he might be capable of next. It's only escalating.
There you go, the Tesla terrorist back on the street attacking in Hawaii after he was let out of prison after less than a year sentence on a 5-year prison term because we, in Fruitcake, California, let them out for no particular reason because we're running emotional feelings on, screw that. Dude probably should have, well, I guess I'm hanging Judge Roy. Because I'd have given this clown the death penalty. Send him down to Berkeley down there in El Salvador. Gator was pissed. 11-foot gator ate a woman in Florida after they canoed over him. He didn't like that. He flipped the canoe over. There's a man and a woman. He ate the woman. Here's the report. Here we go.
FWC couldn't say whether that actually contributed to this attack, but it comes just 3 months after another woman was bitten by a gator near the boat ramp at Lake Kissimmee State Park.
Gator grabbed her out of the canoe. He tried to fight the gator off.
Just after 4 this afternoon, the call came.
At the mouth of Tiger Creek on Lake Kissimmee,
A woman attacked and dragged underwater by an alligator while on the water with a male companion.
Polk County Sheriff's Office helicopter responded along with FWC officers by vessel. The helicopter spotted the victim floating in the water, and FWC officers recovered her from the water.
Most of these things in the reports out, they did a 300-year study. Most of the gator attacks are because you are in their zone. Swampy waters, where they're at, where they're doing. You know, if you stay away from the gator's habitat, the odds of you getting eaten, bit, or attacked, or losing your life as this woman did, are extremely, extremely low. Moreno Valley Planning Commission last night, we did pass, finally with a 7-0 vote, the Victoria Gardens. We'll get into that whole thing in later. Union representative and planning commissioner of Moreno Valley, Omar Kobian, said outcomes at our, planning commission, city council, are predetermined.
Hey,